never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
The past is gone. Now's the future.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Weekly Review. My name is Mike Lark, and as always, I am joined by the dead man of RWT, Mr. Paul Morales. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing very well, my sirs. How are you guys?
I am good, and also now officially making this a three-man band, baby. The one, the only DC, Mr. Daniel Kermans. How are you, Daniel?
We are living the dream. We are getting cold here up in Western New York. I'm tired of this crap. Paul, you're lucky you're out in the sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You know what? And actually, it's been windy as all hell. We got like 50-mile-an-hour winds where I am, so I'm blowing around over here like a hooker in confession for all I know.
I will say here in Myrtle Beach, it is cold, but it's not as bad as upstate New York. I will say that because we got the sunshine here too. South Carolina, no winters, no winter.
Our overnight temp is supposed to be like 28.
Jesus, I do not.
55.
55.
Stop.
Nice. Well, I will say this about California. We do have to start with the photo of the week. Topanga. Oh boy.
Very nice.
Topanga.
Very nice. Not evil.
I love
Very well. I like it.
I like it.
All we need is Pepsi Fill. We just need Pepsi Fill.
I love you too. And I love Danielle Fishel. First and foremost, for those that don't know, Danielle Fishel is a huge professional wrestling fan. She's been to PWG. We've seen her with Leo Rush. We have now seen her with Danhausen. And also, of course, with Vader being on Boy Meets World for seasons 3 and 4. Like, it's awesome to see Topanga all dressed up and decked out with Danhausen.
Oh.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Back in the day,
I had to do that one.
Back in the day, every young kid, every young, preteen, teen had a crush on her.
And she's still a beauty. I mean, the woman, caught the cancer early, as we know. But first and foremost, gotta love Danielle Fishel, man. Gotta love Danielle Fishel. Topanga.
Dude, I was in love with that girl the first moment I saw her, and I was like, I'm too old for you, but damn, you are gorgeous.
Here's the thing, and people got on her, and here's what I hated about it, because in the later years, they did also focus on an episode of Boy Meets World, like towards the end, when her and Corey were married on the show, about her, gaining weight, and I'm like, I don't care what that girl is. She looks fine as wine. Like, she can have some curves the word, spins the verb. Like, I love me some Danielle Fishel. That girl was awesome. Good.
Half the people that make these horrible comments,
yeah.
Look in the mirror.
That is true.
Like,
that is true, because she just did a show with what was it? Remember? Oh my God, what was it? The girl from the one who was on The Big Bang Theory, Bialik, whatever her name was, the one who played.
Mayim Bialik.
Thank you. My apologies. Yeah, Mayim Bialik. She was on the show talking about that episode. So the episode that I'm referring to, because you've seen it in Hollywood, all these shows they have an episode where it has to do with the weight, like DJ Tanner and the Full House episode. Like, so she was talking with Mayim about it, and she's like, yeah, so they made it the episode where she's got my baby back ribs like I was pregnant and I couldn't fit into my pants, but it was Corey's pants. And she's just like, I hated doing that episode. And I'm like, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit, because that episode was ridiculous for those that remember that episode. So
but
yeah,
that seems to be the running theme with a lot of those 90s
shows,
those 90s TGIF shows. Even Step by Step used to do the same thing. I remember when one of the daughters was like, thought she was overweight, and she thought she started to do like sort of like she was trying to do all these weight loss pills and whatnot. So yeah, I can kind of I know exactly where that all goes. Yeah. So that was a 90s theme, for women and their body image, for it just happened to be that
episode of Seventh Heaven where they got caught smoking marijuana that everybody talks about.
They're smoking the doobage.
Smoking the devil's lettuce.
Exactly.
But yes, for every 90s show, I will say my favorite episode of Boy Meets World, to keep it with wrestling related, I will say this because we both love our pop culture wrestling. And my friends, when Mick Foley came in and refereed Angela, Daniel Fishel, and Rachel against Eric.
Rachel!
And then the cute one is staring at me, and then Eric Matthews, friggin' Wilfredo, Mankind, Mick Foley throws him through the wall. Like, oh God, and through the ceiling. Boy Meets World, ladies and gentlemen. Boy Meets World. Absolutely.
See, now you're going to make me want to go back and watch it, man.
Vader, yeah, we mentioned Vader being the father of Frankie Stechino. You got to see him.
And speaking, perfectly normal, like in the intelligence. He's like, speaking like, wait, what?
Right? Yeah, and he's just like, Frankie, my boy, ooh. He's doing the dog bark, and then he's speaking normally. It's like, who is this man? Who is this man? God rest his soul, Big Man Vader. This is 90s. It's coming back.
Frankie Stechino. He was all the gentle giant guy.
Yes, and he read poetry.
Yeah, read poetry. He was nothing like his dad. He was
didn't want to be a wrestler.
Yeah, didn't want to be a wrestler, but hey. That was one of those. Hey, go back and watch those, man. Those episodes were awesome, man.
Father, you will always be the world heavyweight champion in my heart.
If I beat Jake the Snake, I get a shot at the title.
Fine, give me a roof.
Ooh. And his little brother. Ooh.
They don't make shows like
this
anymore.
Subject here, man. We get it on subject.
Oh man, yeah, I know they don't make shows like this anymore.
Yeah, they don't make shows like that, man. I like Girls Meets World, but I wish they would have ran it a lot longer.
That's what I will say. This I watched Boy Meets World, Girl Meets World. Yeah.
Seen better.
I actually did like it. I honestly did like it. It was a bit. You could kind of see that girl side of that girl perspective, that female perspective on the show, and it was a good one. It was the same way we got raised with Corey is the same way we got raised with his daughter. So it was beautiful.
I will say that it also did give us Sabrina Carpenter, who was an absolute.
Yes, that's the other thing it got us.
Oh. So we talk about some happy stuff, and then we go from the beautiful Miss Danielle Fishel to Topanga, and then we go to people who are not so beautiful.
Topangahausen. Let's
Topangahausen. Get it right.
I will curse you.
I know. So we go from Topangahausen to dumbasses. And I mean, one I don't despise as more the other. I shouldn't say despise, but one doesn't annoy me as the other one. Jonathan Coachman and Vince Russo now have a podcast together. Yes, the Coach and Vince Russo. And one thing that got all the wrestling world in a kerfluffle here is because these two boneheads are like, I hate that WrestleMania is 2 nights. And I'm like, you mean every WrestleMania that used to be 8 doggone hours where we have to sit and watch it in one sitting that everybody got tired of and just everybody didn't want to sit there, but everybody's happy now that since COVID we have 2 nights? You mean those events? Yeah.
I remember. I forget. I think it was Mania 34 or 33. Whichever one was the one where it was Taker and Roman.
That was WrestleMania 33.
And I remember that one ended at like 1 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, like 12:45, 1 o'clock.
In the morning.
Yep.
And I had to be to work at 7.
I remember WrestleMania 32 with Roman and Triple H. That ended at like 12:30, 12:45. Yep, I remember that one too.
And not only that, but the 2 nights, it allows more opportunities for more talent to be on screen and get paid.
True. Well,
and you don't have to be like Tony Khan, who took the.
I'll pay you.
Who took the Vince McMahon,
route
rule book on freaking how to do a pay-per-view in the the 90s and the early 2000s. Yeah.
So this is what the Coach and as the show is now called, the Coach and Bro, Vince Russo and Jonathan Coachman's new show.
Of course it is.
The Coach and Bro. So this is what Jonathan Coachman, who, Coach, I like you, but you're saying some things where I'm just like, no. And Bro, Vince Russo. Here's what we're going to do, bro. Here we go.
I hate the 2-night event.
I do too, man. I do too. And they stretch it out and they so water it down to have 2 nights, and I can't stand it.
I can't stand it either. And if I hear one more time, oh, they've had a great year, they deserve to have a match on WrestleMania. When I was there, deserve wasn't even a word that people use. It was like, who is and the show was put together from lowest to highest. It wasn't this, let's put it together storyline wise, not at WrestleMania. No. It was, here are the matches, here's the ones we're booked, and then boom, 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 boom. To me, that's how the Super Bowl should be done.
I agree 1,000%, Coach.
Your guys' thoughts?
Hold on. Before anybody chimes in on this.
Okay.
What the fuck was WrestleMania Backlash?
Right.
Was that not WrestleMania Night 2?
Yes, it was.
Was it, or that should have been like Night 1?
That should have been
and the actual WrestleMania would have been like Night 2?
Yes.
Or Elimination Chamber probably would have been the prequel to fucking WrestleMania. That probably would have been a third night.
Yep.
Don't give me this bullshit. Fucking Coachman, I swear that man is just trying to stay fucking relevant in wrestling. Yeah. When for some apparent reason he don't got no clout and he don't have Vince. That's just it. And he's got that Vince, but not.
I guarantee you, both of these guys, if Triple H picked up the phone and just said, "Hey, one job, come work for me," they just say, "Please pay me.
Please take me." Well,
please pay me.
The coach did come back in 2018, and coach did say in his interview with Chris Van Vliet that, he felt Corey Graves didn't want him there, number one, and number two, he's like, the problem that I had is I listened to Vince. He said, come back as ESPN coach instead of like the character coach that I did in 2008 and like the heel coach. I look at it with Jonathan Coachman and what Vince Russo said there. It's like you mentioned, the Elimination Chamber is the prequel to WrestleMania. WrestleMania Backlash was the aftermath to WrestleMania. And I look at it from a stance too like this. I mean, if you guys have the old Vince mindset, because this is what it is. They're so used to being around Vince McMahon that the mindset is we lower it here and then boom, 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 boom. Then we stack it up, boom, 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 boom here. And we have like 12 matches. Like I remember when I was a kid, and I'll take it back, WrestleMania 23 and how long that was. I was at WrestleMania 20. That show ended like almost like 11 or 12 because, again, they stacked it up with 12, 13 matches. That's the really like first one that I remember that was so long. I mean, WrestleMania 19 wasn't even like that. I think that went to 11. But once we got to like 20, 21, 22, 23, it's where we really
they want like the original WrestleMania, which was just a shade over 2 hours.
Yes. That's what we're doing.
I'm sorry, but no. And if you look at it, the past few Manias have been, this last one, WrestleMania 40, was great.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see a problem with it. Was it perfect? No. But none of them are going to be.
Yeah, but you don't want to be sitting there for fucking 8 fucking hours watching a damn show. Imagine sitting there watching a Super Bowl for 8 fucking hours. Not only are you watching the Super Bowl, you're watching the AFC and NFC championship games. You're watching the divisional games basically in a matter of 8 fucking hours, nearly 9 fucking hours. Now, if you look at fucking AEW, it's literally almost 9 fucking hours long.
Yeah, the pre-show's at 6:30. Then they have the match that doesn't start till like 7:30, and then they're there till like 12:30. Yep. And
they're literally there till like 1 a.m.
Oh, yeah. And then you got
it's literally, that's what it is.
Then you have the kickoff, the media scrum afterward that takes forever. Like, I'll be honest with you here, as I'm looking at WrestleMania 20, just thinking of as a kid when I was there at MSG. So, no heat match, right? Because usually they would have the Sunday night heat match before it. No heat match, just straight up 12 matches. Like, for an hour they talked. It was Jonathan Coachman and Al Snow. Coach and Al Snow talking for an hour. And then the show would start, and we got that done like at 12 o'clock or whatever it was. It started at 8, went to like 12. Because this was the first 4-hour WrestleMania. So, yeah, that's how you did it. No heat matches. They just ran the card down, and then boom, you went right to the show. Which is fine, but still, it's long. It's long.
Yeah, but you look at the ones where they had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on the pre-show. Yeah. And then you have like another match on the pre-show, and it's like the pre-show's like 2 hours long. Yep. Not to mention another fucking 5 hours for the damn show.
that was like when they did WrestleMania 33, to put Daniel's point about taking Roman back. Like the pre-show matches were like the Total Divas against the WWE Divas. You had Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin for the Intercontinental Championship. You had like all these matches on the kickoff, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Like, we don't need that. That's why also like when they moved the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal to SmackDown, like that was even better, putting that on SmackDown before WrestleMania.
Because part of the problem, like, is when you have these matches on the pre-show, half the time the fans haven't even gotten in the arena yet.
Right. They haven't even gotten their seat in.
And I remember that was one of the complaints with fans saying, hey, we paid to see these matches, but yet by the time we got to their seat, we say, hey, did they do this match? Oh, yeah, that just ended.
Well, that's what AEW does now. You see friggin' the Hardys and friggin' whoever they're wrestling, and then there's nobody in the fucking arena yet. It's like doing
yeah,
this.
and there's like they're literally pulling everybody from like one side to the hard camera side, and then it's like they're trying to fill in places of like people, and it's like so boring. I mean, matches that should be on like Dynamite or Collision are on the fucking pay-per-view.
And
Run smaller venues.
We say it every week, and I mean, look at what they did. Like the stuff that's compelling, matches that shouldn't be on this Full Gear, like that Daniel Garcia Jungle Boy Jack Perry like confrontation where he grabbed him by the beard. I'm like, I could not be more uninterested in a TNT Championship match. I didn't care. And then you have friggin' Anna Doggone Jay is like, I kicked you, I striked you, but I didn't choke you out. So on Collision, we're gonna have Anna Jay and Mariah May 3 no DQ rubber match. And I'm like, we're really continuing this dumbass fucking feud. Why? Because we got nobody from Mariah May right now like that. I mean, there's so many stuff that they added to Full Gear that I'm like, whatever. And don't get me started on friggin' Powerhouse Hobbs coming back friggin' the way he did. His contract expired on October 4th with the Don Callis family, and he's pissed. My pissed off partner, Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, you couldn't even do like Don Callis is in the back. Powerhouse Hobbs is like, and then he's like, oh, Powerhouse Hobbs, it's nice to see you. Well, he's like, yeah, you've forgotten about me all these months. Where you been? Why haven't you talked to me? My contract, when I signed with the Don Callis family, my contract expired to this date, and now it's this date. Where you been? Oh, and he goes, and then he could go, oh, about that. Well, your services are no longer needed. He grabs Don Callis. Brian Cage attacks him from behind. Then you have the promo next week. Brian Cage talking about, Don Callis talking about, I don't need you, Powerhouse Hobbs, when I got a machine. And also, Brian Cage has always been better than you, Hobbs, because let's also get back to the point that they were both in Team Taz together. Like, you could do something like that. But no, it's just like, oh, Will Hobbs, he's pissed. He's my partner.
Again, back to everything that happened with not only Jamie Hayter, with Chris Statlander, how she was a heel one week, and then all of a sudden now she's a face, and then we get no explanation until like a couple weeks later why she turned to a face, and it's like,
well, they switched the stipulation now with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, because he's like, all Roddy has to do now is win 2 matches, and all I got to do is win 2 matches, and then it's going to be a triple threat at Full Gear. And I'm like, the main thing was to see who gets to 3 first. And now it's like, oh, but if we both get to 3, it'll be a triple threat. We want it to be a triple threat. Why? Like, why? Why? It just, he has no idea what he's doing. He really does. And if Takeshita, as we're recording this, takes the pin tomorrow night, 2 weeks in a row, Adam Cole, how does that make Takeshita look? Like shit.
Oh, I don't know. He's doing better matches outside of fucking AEW right now.
He is. He's doing great matches outside of AEW, like Mike Bailey from Maple Leaf Wrestling. Hello. But God, it just we get frustrated about this booking each and every single week, because Tony literally has a card coming up that's next week. And I hate to say this, because we all talk wrestling, we love wrestling, but I'm not looking forward to Full Gear next week. I'm looking forward to Survivor Series. I'm not looking forward to this, because he has not given me anything to emotionally invest in. John Moxley and Orange Cassidy doesn't make me go, ooh, ah. I'm sorry, because it all goes back.
What you're saying, Mike, is this card doesn't make you feel very oozy?
Oozy? No, it does not. So, I mean, look at John Moxley and Orange Cassidy.
I could literally tell you it's
yeah.
I think his name is Harold Abrams, the one that was with UWF.
Oh yeah.
That's who Tony Khan reminds me of. Oh, Herbert.
Oh, Herb Abrams. Herb Abrams.
Herb Abrams. That's what it was. I'm sorry, Herb. Freaking.
Oh, you mean the guy that snorted the coke and they ran Las
yeah,
Vegas?
yeah, the UWF. So this is what it reminds me of. Is like, so I remember when they started, and they were supposed to be the competition to WWF at the time, and it was like you looked at what they were doing, and it was like pretty much what Tony Khan is doing now. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. To a T. It's exactly what it was.
It reminds me of Herb Abrams snorting the coke on Dark Side of the Ring, like you mentioned, and then they run Las Vegas out of nowhere, right? And then the talents are like, but nobody really showed up because they had a bad house, right? Because they were in this big arena, Caesar's Palace. Nobody came, but Herb's like, oh, but we ran Las Vegas anyway, and it's like that's not the point. Like nobody was in the fucking arena, nobody was there. It's great you were in Vegas, but there was nobody that fucking came to the goddamn show. And this is Tony. It's like it doesn't matter if they come to the show. We ran here though. We did this. We did that. I'll pay you.
Yeah, but like I remember, I told you before how the AWA used to do shows out of the Showboat Hotel and Casino in Vegas.
Yeah.
So all the times that I've gone, dude, it was packed. It was packed to the freaking to the all the way to the back. And now this wasn't no like grandstands or anything or little stands or anything. No, they were just seats on the floor, and you got to just see where the ring was in the middle of the freaking, like a little convention hall. That's exactly how it was. And it was fucking awesome because every seat was filled.
So
how the hell they went out of business, I have no idea.
I will say two more things.
Vince McMahon says what?
Vince McMahon says what? Yes. I will say two things more on that. Like, I mentioned Orange Cassidy's presentation of being like, dude, this year, like, all his feuds were with Trent Beretta, where went nowhere and was just whatever. The conglomeration. And now he's like, all of a sudden, I'm going to stand up for AEW. That. And it's just like, whatever. The Young Bucks taken, they're working from home, like we mentioned last week. But Christopher Daniels, if you ordered Adam Pearce off a Wish, was pretty much like, I'm going to be like the buffer between Tony Khan and the Young Bucks, right? And then now he's friggin' just like, where are you guys going? We need you. What do you mean we need you? You were the buffer. You hated them like 6 months ago, and now we're all buddy-buddy. We need you. And it just is like, it makes no fucking sense. That, and then, of course, I got to talk about Mercedes Moné, one of the biggest busts in AEW history.
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. I love you, Mercedes. Thank God for you. So we had Mercedes Moné try to run over Chris Statlander, and she's yelling at Camille because they missed. She Uranagi's this woman onto a friggin' car, and I still don't care. And the problem is they're already starting dissension after 2 flippin' months of Camille and Mercedes Moné being together. This reminds me of when Moose came into TNA, and they already like went into him and Mike Bennett at Bound for Glory like 2 months after they came together, which also on their part, they brought in Moose as a heel when everybody was doing the Moose, like right as soon as he came out. So that was ridiculous in 2016. But like Shawn and Diesel, Shawn came in, he had Diesel for about 1.5 years, and then they started at the WrestleMania 11 build where Shawn and Diesel had dissension, and Shawn became a heel, Diesel became the babyface. But they're starting it after 2 months, like with already dissension. And I'm going to say right now, Julia Hart, that flipping vignette where she's doing the cheerleader and then she gets shot by the figure, the House of Black figure, was fantastic. And if Julia Hart, the last time we saw her was in an interaction with Mercedes Moné before she lost the TBS championship to Willow Nightingale, if that is not the woman who beats Mercedes, it makes no flipping sense, because that is the woman to take it off of her. So yeah, I just had to put those 2 points out there.
You're spot on.
Mercedes Moné will drop the title to Mercedes Moné.
Essentially.
But yeah, folks, that is some of our little AEW banter. And also, Tomohiro Ishii pinned Chris Jericho. Hi, guys. No. Remember that time 2 years ago when Chris Jericho got his chest chopped and it was bleeding in their match 2 years ago? We're coming up on the anniversary. You guys remember that? No, we don't. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Hit it.
It's supposedly, as we mentioned last week, they're using Jericho to try and get a TV deal for Ring of Honor.
That's what they did 2 years ago, Dan, when they made him the champion the first time.
Work.
And it didn't work the first time that they did it.
You can't tell me, you can't go to Warner and just say, hey, can we put Ring of Honor on Max?
No. No, you can't.
Like,
I don't understand why they wouldn't, because
they had an opportunity. They had an opportunity before NXT signed with CW to put Ring of Honor on CW, but Tony passed on it.
Yep.
Initially, they were going to get the time slot that NXT got.
Well, because Tony's a dingus, and this is why we lose the
Greatest booker of all time.
I'll pay you. I love you. Come to my company. Again, we get
Dave
frustrated.
Meltzer, tell me how good I am.
We're about to get to him. But first, before we get to Dave, we mentioned Jonathan Coachman and Vince Russo talking about the Vince McMahon mindset. Well, here comes MVP. So here we go. MVP says he left WWE because the new management in place wasn't for him. I didn't want to resign, and I let it be known that I wasn't going to resign because the new management in place. Anytime, I don't care where you work, when new management comes in, it's good for some people and not for other people. New people come in, old people go. So I just felt that it was definitely time to go because the new management just wasn't for me, and I ain't for him. So pretty much what you're saying without saying it is, MVP, you miss Vince McMahon. Like, let's put it to the forefront. You and Bobby miss Vince. Your thoughts? Go ahead, Paul.
I have none.
You have none? Daniel?
I do.
Go ahead.
WWE is moving more towards the youth, the new upcoming stars. Excuse me. Lashley is pushing 50.
Yep.
MVP pushing 50, if
Yep.
he's not already.
Yep.
And you're going to want people that can be around in your company another 10, 15, 20-ish years.
Yep.
Look at Rhea Ripley. She's 29.
25.
25.
So she's probably got another 10, maybe 15 years left. I mean, there's really nothing left for her to do, but
She's an asset, man. Like, she's one of the top breeds.
She's one of the top women's wrestlers in the entire industry. I don't care what anybody says.
No, 1,000%. I think you and I.
1,000%.
So if I'm Triple H and I can either go after, somebody, a young upcoming talent like a Penta, like a Rey Fenix, because let's be real, we know where they're going.
Oh, yeah.
The Motor City Machine Guns, people like that, people that can add, to the company. Don't get me wrong, Lashley's got a good look and he's, okay in the ring, but on the microphone, no.
He has that list, Bobby Lashley.
No, and it's not just that though. I mean, but if you look at what Triple H is doing, this is something he was doing in NXT.
Yes.
This is exactly what he was doing in NXT. He had some big guys. He had a great mix of guys. They were big, they were agile, but they were, and then he had smaller guys that could work with bigger guys, much like Bronson Reed, and Drew McIntyre, who were still, still bigger, stockier guys. But then you had guys like Adam Cole and you had guys like Roderick Strong, who were still small guys, but can go out there and work their asses off, with them. So it's, to me, even Finn Balor was still a small guy, but dude can work with anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. The fact is that Triple H has changed our perspective, our perception of WWE as the way we used to see it under Vince, and as to the way we see his vision now. And it's only going to continue to get better as the years progress.
To add on to your point, Paul, I mean, if you look at the early NXT takeovers, you had one of your main events was Tyler Breeze, Tyson Kidd, Pac, and all of them, and Sami Zayn for the NXT World Championship. Like, those guys are not like big guys like Bobby Lashley. But again, we talk about the perception. Like, again, Bobby Lashley's in his mid-40s. He looks great, but I mean, it's just like that's not where we're going. I always say, why do I need Bobby Lashley when I have
How many more years does he realistically have?
Not many. No. And I mean, I know he's wrestling Swerve in his debut for AEW next week at Full Gear. All right. Sure. Fine. Whatever. But it is what it is. We're going towards more of the youth movement, and I think these guys need to realize that. And MVP, you got to stop pulling the card that you know you're pulling, because you know Triple H ain't like that. You know Shawn ain't like that. So shut your punk ass mouth, MVP. Just stop it. Just MVP. He annoys me about that. I think he's a great talker. He's a great wrestler, but God, he needs to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Even Shelton Benjamin is fucking awesome, but dude, I mean,
Shelton's in his mid-40s now.
Shelton Benjamin should have been somebody that stayed in WWE, but only to be like an AJ Styles and continue to keep helping the guys that were there. And even going to AEW, he looks like he's going to do about the same thing. So
yeah,
you're just changing companies and you're going for the money. So
it was
because he's playing second fiddle to Lashley, which I'm sorry, it should be Shelton getting the rub that Bobby's getting.
No, I concur with you. Shelton has been putting in the work for years upon years upon years. And out of the three of them, he's the best out of all of them. Ain't no stopping him now. And with Shelton, it's just like he's another one that can, like Paul mentioned, help the young talent. But it's just like Tony had to do this version of the Hurt Syndicate because they felt wronged by the previous regime. And now, here we are. So we shall see where it goes. But yes, I am too into the Shelton Benjamin mindset, because Shelton is just one of those unsung heroes of professional wrestling that really deserves a lot of credit for a lot of the talent that we see in professional wrestling. And speaking of talent in professional wrestling, Jon Moxley did an interview recently with the New York Post, and here is what Jon Moxley had to say. Jon Moxley claims frustration and confusion among some talent is due to the lack of a clear path up the card. Says he overheard someone backstage in AEW say, "It's just the bottom of the card. It doesn't matter," and believes that attitude needs to go. There will be a lot of stuff that won't be a part of this AEW. For example, earlier in the year, I was having a conversation, or was around the conversation earlier in the year. I heard a backstage type person talking about interviews or pre-tapes or something. It was a situation where talents were not put in a position to succeed due to lack of preparation, framework, direction, and things like that. This individual said, "Well, it's the bottom of the card. It doesn't matter." Can you imagine saying that? You're fucking fired. Go work at Sunglass Hut. You should be fucking pistol whipped for saying that. For one, everybody that is on the top of the card was at one time on the bottom of the card. That's how it works. You climb the ladder. You see this frustration or confusion from some of these talents because there's no fucking ladder. They don't know what to do. They're just wandering in the desert. We're going to grab them and we're going to walk them. Now, this is what Jon Moxley said in the New York Post. Go ahead, Gus. And I'll start again with
Yes.
you. Yes.
Abso-fucking-lutely. I mean, I can honestly say if you put people like Mox and Bryan Danielson in charge of things, sky's the fucking limit for AEW.
Oh, yeah. He's valid in everything that he said. It's just, again, it's frustration because, again, we talk about the bottom of the card. Like, again, the attitude can't be there. You got to work your way up, and people just want it like that. It's patience of virtue, and you climb the ladder. Now, Paul, what are your thoughts on what Moxley had to say? Because it was very poignant.
Let me reiterate something I had said many times before.
Sure.
Tony Khan needs to rely on all the years of the talent that he has available to him.
Yes.
He has to rely on somebody like Jeff Jarrett. He has to rely on somebody like Bryan Danielson, who has a lot more years than Kenny Omega. More years than the Young Bucks. Jon Moxley is the exact same way. Look at Jay Lethal that's back there. Sanjay Dutt was it Sanjay Dutt?
Yeah, Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah, Sanjay Dutt is back there.
Hell, MVP even.
I mean, but I've said this so many times, like that Tony needs to lean on them. Ask them, say, "Hey, look, how can we make our product better?" Chris Jericho, for as many years as he's been a wrestler, I mean, it makes more sense. Look, Dustin's gone. Let's just be frank. Dustin is gone.
Yeah.
As soon as his contract is done, dude is gone, and he's gonna be a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Point blank. But
Royal Rumble return.
I would fucking pop so loudly. I
he's
would
poor.
as soon and if he decides that he wants to come back and I hear Shattered Dreams, I'm gonna fucking blow it.
Same. I mean, we remember when he came back in 2002, the pop he got at the Royal Rumble that year. I mean, come on now.
Aye.
Aye.
Remember when he got electrocuted and shit? I
will say the unfortunate part about that whole situation is you got Sammy Guevara, who's half of the Ring of Honor tag champions.
Yep.
And
now your partner is a free agent.
Yeah, and he's and that just again back to things that make you go, It to like I said this so many times, it's like he just needs to be able to trust them, to be able to listen to what their words are and take it and execute it. Because you would have so much this product would be so much better for it. I mean, the fans and we'll say DC said the exact same thing. Bully Ray said the exact same thing. Dave LaGreca said the exact same thing. They need to be in smaller venues. They need to be in smaller venues to draw in the crowds that they get. Yes, those will be all AEW crowd, all AEW fans, but it helps them in the long run. It works for them.
Right. And I mean, we always touch upon that. And I mean, I know we sound like a broken record with a lot of this, but Tony really needs to start listening. I mean, we have all these people coming in, but we always say to ourselves, is Tony going to be the one to listen? And unfortunately, he's not going to listen because Tony knows best. And the people that he surrounds himself with, like a Will Washington. And again, Will Washington is a notch below. He's more like, So there's that type of mindset that he's a mark like Tony. Because, I mean, if that doesn't show you anything when he's talking about the fact that he jizzed his pants like he's on a lonely island, friggin' when Sting came into the friggin' office, like that, what does that tell you? Like, he surrounds himself with Will Washington.
Just as an aside, did you see that picture of Sting?
Oh, yes. I know which one you're talking about, yes.
Like, I first didn't even realize that was him.
No, it just, yeah.
Heck, and even more going back to your point, Paul, you have Sting, one of the absolute greatest. Like, you have a plethora of talent out there. You've got people like you said, like Mox, Bryan Danielson, MVP, Jarrett, people that know how WWE ran, not to replicate it, but they can help you. Use them.
And I had told Michael before. I said that's literally about 150 years of wrestling knowledge. From the 80s coming up to now. That's 150 years worth of knowledge you have in 7 guys. You literally have 9 guys on your roster where you literally have close to 170 years worth of knowledge.
And when it comes to Jeff Jarrett, like his grandmother, his father, like, come on now. Like, there's a lot of people that
his grandfather was a freaking wrestling promoter. His dad was a wrestling promoter. He was a wrestling promoter. So why would you not want to take advantage of that?
It reminds me of when Jungle Boy didn't want to listen to Billy Gunn because, oh God, he complains about doing all these Canadian destroyers. It's like, here's the difference. Billy Gunn drew money. You don't. Billy Gunn and DX drew money. The New Age Outlaws and DX drew money. You don't. So
Billy Gunn was part of one of the greatest and hottest factions in the history of professional wrestling.
Yes.
The fuck have you done?
Nothing besides being a Nepo baby. Nothing. And looking like teenage Jesus. Really nothing. Really nothing. So speaking of Jungle Boy,
he was hot for a while, but now it's just like.
Well, as soon as he turned heel, and I remember when he beat up Hook, that was the night where he lost to friggin' Sonata for the IWG World Heavyweight Championship. I remember when they announced that for Forbidden Door last year. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? And then he did the heel turn with Hook, and the heel turn just hasn't clicked, which is why I just want to see him lose that TNT Championship to Alex
Real
Wright.
Glass, Cry Me a River.
That's why I want to see him lose to Alex Wright Jr., a.k.a. Daniel Garcia, at Full Gear next week. So, yeah, it is what it is. But speaking of Jungle Boy's favorite people, yeah, what is this? Like, I'm sorry. I know that to that audience it's over, but it's like it reminds me of Alex Wright doing the dance like Alex Wright was a great wrestler, great technical wrestler in WCW, but the man couldn't talk. Daniel Garcia is a good wrestler, but he can't fucking talk. That's what hinders him. Not like hindering the gender, but that's what hinders.
Hey.
I know.
Don't hinder gender.
Don't hinder the gender.
We love you, Amir. Amir still, that's his boy. His boy, Raj. His boy, Raj. My boy, Raj.
My boy Raj.
So, speaking of Jungle Boy's favorite wrestler, here comes CM Punk's story time. So, according to Talk is Jericho, because Big Bill was on that episode, he had stated in the episode with Chris that it was CM Punk who came up with the idea for he and Ricky Starks to team together on TV. Okay. So, yeah, CM Punk had some good ideas. And, I mean, we had Ricky Starks and Big Bill who would go on to win the World Tag Team Championships. And then all of a sudden, Ricky Starks is no longer on TV. And then Big Bill comes out and say, hey, Chris, teach me your ways. And then that gave us the Learning Tree, which is one of the worst doggone factions here in AEW. He went He went from being in a great tag team with Ricky Starks who oozes charisma, who can talk, who can work, who has that character, to old man Jericho looking like Sebastian Bach, who fell off. Yeah. So, your guys' thoughts, and Dan, I'll start with you. Of Chris CM Punk was the one who came up and with the idea of Ricky Starks and Big Bill teaming together.
Not my favorite team, but it worked. You know,
It worked.
got both of them on TV. You know, I think they rushed them to the titles.
Yes, they did. Very much so. Very much so. Beating FTR. Yep. I agree. But I mean, they gave them Sting and Darby Allin. Yep.
I will say this. You know, it's they just recently did an interview with Ricky Starks, and he said he's still under contract. You know, which, let's be real here, and Paul, you know I'm right. As soon as that contract is up, you know where he's headed.
NXT.
And
if not the main roster, but I think he'll probably be up at NXT, and that would be
I wouldn't be shocked to see Big Bill go back.
No, I think he's even said, like, Triple H was the one who told him because he wasn't ready to go to WWE. This was also in Talk is Jericho. He said, go to TNA. And he had a great run in TNA. Like he looks now. He lost some weight. He stopped doing drugs. And, like, he looks
he lost.
He even stated that. He stopped drinking. He stopped doing drugs and not trying to be part of the freaking punks society, you know.
Yeah.
He also ditched about 230 pounds of headache by the name of Enzo Amore, you know.
Yeah.
Because I remember on the Indies for a while, they were a package deal, and I don't think that was going to get him anywhere.
Well, that Ring of Honor thing didn't help as well. With what we
Yeah.
got.
He made the big mistake of pissing off Tama Tonga.
Oh, that is something you do not do, is piss off old Tama.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. Now, we did mention a lot of the old heads. We mentioned a lot of people creative and people that Tony Khan has listened to. Now, we're into the Uncle Dave portion of the show because there was a lot of Uncle Dave that we're going to get into. Shows what a piece of shit he is, and then we'll get into some happy stuff with the WWE ID, which, again, love it. So here we go. This is the first of Dave Meltzer's bullshittery. So Dave Meltzer thinks that the Hurt Syndicate came across like big stars on AEW, but still believes the show has too much ex-WWE talent. And I quote, this is from Dave. I felt watching them, they did come across like pretty big stars compared to a load of the AEW guys. MVP knows how to talk. They dress like stars. It's a big deal to do that. A lot of people don't get that aspect of the game. They look like big stars out there and carry themselves like stars. Bobby Lashley really carries himself like a star. MVP is a great talker. Too much ex-WWE on the show, that's all. So that is what Uncle Dave had to say about the Hurt Syndicate. Okay, Dan, I see it. Go ahead.
No, Paul, you take
Paul, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Okay, what did I say? I believe I said in our conversation, the
Yes.
one thing that was filled with that episode of Dynamite for to go head to head with NXT, it was filled with WWE guys.
That was exactly your
That
verbatim.
was exactly what it was. It was literally a WWE fest of just guys that were just there. And now I get it. You know, guys have moved over from one company to another. I get it. But you don't stack your roster, or you don't stack an episode with a bunch of guys that were from the company who you're battling against on that same night. stack it with the guys, with the people that you want to come in, that you want to get out there to showcase them, man. I mean, it gave you every opportunity to showcase everybody but ex-WWE people, and all you did was fill the show with ex-WWE guys. Look at NXT. NXT had such an amazing freaking show. Such an amazing episode. They knew they were going head to head, and what was the
main event?
What was the main event?
The 10-woman tag.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they showcased. All those amazing women that they have on their roster.
And the 10-woman tag, if you look at the ratings breakdown, they beat Ricochet and Powerhouse Hobbs against Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher in the ratings because people turned off when Ricochet came out, and the women beat Ricochet in the friggin' ratings. Like, I mean, that whole entire, I mean, I know it was nostalgia, but I'm going to say right now, when the lights went out and Rhino came out and gored Robbie E after just getting the Hall of Fame induction, I popped because it was great seeing Rhino. Jada Parker and Lola Vice, that feud, that brick, that she took a brick to the face, the trash cans, like this woman went buck wild. It was great to see Dawn Marie as the special guest referee. Little Guido, Nunzio. When Nunzio comes out, he does this after he takes the spine buster. That was fun to see the nostalgia of Tony D and Nunzio. Like that whole entire.
He still looked great.
He's, for someone who's 52, he looks amazing. Say, what about Mama Luke? What you think of Tony Mama Luke? Look at
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's just a skinny guy, dude. I mean, I don't know what more you wanted from fucking
Tony Mama
no,
Luke.
man. I mean, yeah, he looked good. I mean, yeah, it was. I forgot who mentioned it, and I think it was. I think it was Dave who said that. Yeah. So they literally filled it with a bunch of nostalgia from ECW. But yeah, they may have, but they stacked the fucking card. Yeah. With a lot of the NXT talent.
Yeah. Well, that's what Uncle Dave said, and I'm gonna put it to this point because he went at our boy Paul Morales. He went at our boy Bully Ray and busted open, and people compared the energy. It's like Chris Jericho, who has kissed Dave Meltzer's ass because of his 5 stars and whatnot. He could talk about something that Chris Jericho did that was great, but when Bully Ray's on ECW, he goes, "Oh, that's because Busted Open's in bed with them. They mentioned Busted Open like 4 times." I'm like, because they're on the fucking radio show. Like, because that's his product, that's his brand. Hello, Dave. Hello, Brian. Like,
this is the problem with fucking Dave Meltzer. Yeah. I guarantee you, if they had ran is it the 2300 or the 3300?
2300
arena.
If they had ran that venue and didn't have any ECW talent, I guarantee you Meltzer would have said, "Well, why didn't they use any of the ECW guys? Why didn't they use any of that?"
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been the same damn thing. And it's the same thing with all these anti-fucking marks who are like, well, why didn't they use Rob Van Dam? Why didn't they use Rhino?
They did use Rob Van Dam.
What I'm saying is if they hadn't.
I feel you. But yeah, it's like with Rob Van Dam, they're going to be complaining, oh, why didn't he wrestle? I'm like, you had him and Kailani Jordan, who Kailani Jordan's finishing move is a split-legged moonsault that is very apropos Rob Van Dam, the moveset. They did the infamous stretching thing that Rob Van Dam does, that Kailani Jordan do, and they had that interaction. You had Rob Van Dam get involved with Javon Evans and Wesley, which was great, and now you have possibility of some Wesley versus Rob Van Dam, which will do wonders for Wesley because high-flying, high-octane as fucking Rob Van Dam. You had Zarya get the pin over Roxanne Perez, which teases Zarya and Roxanne, but also there was that miscommunication where Zarya speared Jordynne Grace, and it's like that also builds Zarya versus Jordynne Grace for the future, which a lot of people really, really, really want to see. So
I want it now.
No, Tony, you're not going to get it right now.
Don't be rushing everything.
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. That will do it every week. I love you all. So
hold on. We'll go to TNA. TNA, the last time they were at the 2300 arena. Yeah, what did they do? They had their roster. Of course, they stacked it with ECW people.
Yes.
The last time that ROH was at the 2300 arena, what did they do? They stacked it with with ECW people. So don't give me this crap, fucking Dave. That all of a sudden NXT just happens to stack it, just happens to put a little bit of nostalgia in their stuff when everybody who goes to the 2300 arena literally has a bunch of people. And Tommy Dreamer worked for TNA. And that's why when they went to the 2300 arena, guess what they had? ECW people. So it makes sense to go there, pay homage to those people, to the people that made that arena what it was, out of respect. It just makes sense.
You know, when the lights went out, I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking Rhino.
Sandman.
I was thinking Sandman, Sabu. Hell, I was
thinking the Blue Meanie.
The Blue Meanie. Yes. But no, I mean, you guys, if you look at the meaning of it too, like when Bubba Ray Dudley and Trick fought Ethan Page and Ridge Holland, it sets up Trick and Ridge because Ridge got the pin, but then they got the upper hand on them, and then Devon came out and gave them the table, and Bubba Ray and Trick did the what's up, and they did the choke slam through the table, and it makes Trick look great and puts him over by wearing the glasses. So it helped Trick Williams, and it also furthered the Trick Williams Ridge Holland story. So there's stuff there, like everything on that show. And we say this every time. You may not like it. You may not like the WWE, and you may prefer AEW, which is fine. But the difference between both shows is everything on NXT made sense, and it went further into the story. AEW, everything was all over the place and made no goddamn sense. That's the difference. That's literally the difference right there. And this is why more people gravitate more towards WWE than they do AEW. So with that being said, we're going to get...
What show I'll pay you?
But I'll pay you. Fuck you all. I love you. So then we get to more of the Uncle Dave bullshittery, and this is where it started. So he put on here NXT, beat AEW 619K and 0.17 for NXT, 523K / 0.16 in the demographic for AEW. NXT does have the edge being in 9% more homes as a network station. So he blamed them being in 9% more homes as a network station. That was the excuse this week. And then it gets even better because we'll pull this up. And Raj Giri chimed in, out of all people, which I thought was hilarious. So he put this tweet out. If I worked at TBS, I'd say AEW won. Warner Brothers Discovery, when it does internal ratings, it is based on 18 to 49 as a percentage of homes that get the station. I've seen copies and the standings, how they would have it, which is the statistically fair way to look at it. It would be 0.39 to 0.38, but I don't work at TBS. And Raj Giri chimed in and said, if I worked at WWE or CW, I'd say NXT won, especially since they won. So that was the latest of Dave complaining as to why AEW lost in the ratings, even though 9% homes in the station. Paul, you want to go ahead, Mr. Statistic over there, because we touched upon this. Go ahead.
Why are we always chiming in? Why are we always trying to figure out why NXT fucking beats Dynamite? Why is Dave always trying to find out, make up some excuse as to why Dynamite loses to NXT? Why is it a thing for him? Because he's in Tony's pocket. Let's just
put it out there. Yeah.
Put it out there and just say he's in Tony's pocket. He's mad because Vince isn't there and he's not in Vince's pocket. Yes. That's probably why he's fucking over there with Tony, kissing Tony's ass. It doesn't make any sense because you're gonna try and put it up like, oh well, it was basketball, or well, there was a hockey game that night, and maybe it wasn't local, or whatever. He'll come up with something, some reason, or it was a season finale of MASH or something. I don't know. It was
season finale of MASH.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, he comes up with so many fucking excuses. I mean, it mind boggles me as to the reason why he does this shit. But Dave is just being just the most petty motherfucker in this world right now with his fucking, this is the reason why they didn't win. This is the reason why they didn't get that many ratings. The product fucking sucks. That's it.
Like, your product sucks. Like, and I said this to you, Paul, and Dan, I'll say this to you. And I don't think we've touched this ourselves, but Daniel, I'll also say this to you. Dave Meltzer's ideology of professional wrestling is the Young Bucks are going to be the big stars ever in 5 years, and this and that. This is the wrestling that I like, and it's going to take over the world. Much like when he would put the UFC in his newsletter, and people would complain to him because it's like, Dave, we want to hear about wrestling. We don't want to talk about MMA. What the fuck you doing here? His ideology of wrestling is what you see with the AEW product, and the product that he loves, that he is so passionate about with his ideologies, absolutely is ice cold right now. What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. Outcast. Hey, yeah. Like, his product that he loves, his baby, fucking sucks. Like Paul said, it fucking sucks. That's the reason why people are watching and tuning out in droves. Daniel, go ahead.
The problem is Tony Khan, by and large, is trying to make it look like New Japan light.
Yep.
No, that style. Nothing wrong with that.
No,
I love me some New Japan.
Same.
But the average American viewer doesn't like that style.
No.
Am I saying you have to, go completely WWE style? No, but you don't have to have it be segment heavy, but some segments, utilize YouTube, Twitter, not calling it X because fuck you, Elon.
It reminds me to go on Dan's point.
Calling it X.
I know.
Wow.
I know. I compare
Twitter
it to
was fine. Bring it back.
Yeah,
please.
I look at it like this. It's like when Aussie Open and like Mark Davies is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes back out and confronts Kyle Fletcher because you haven't seen him in a while because he was injured. Even when Aussie Open first came in, it was like crickets because unless you watch New Japan, you don't know about Aussie Open and Will Ospreay, his boys were in the United Empire. You don't know that. You just put it out there to us. It's like when Shibata got saved by like Daniel Garcia at the pay-per-view when he wrestled Jack Perry, right? And it's because, Daniel Garcia and Shibata have this relationship. Remember that time when they fought for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship? Ring of Honor! It's a Ring of Honor storyline that you're putting on AEW that people don't know about unless you watch Ring of Honor.
The thing with it is, and this is something that I think WWE does better by and large.
Yeah.
Give me pre-debut vignettes. When you sign somebody, don't immediately rush them to TV.
Daniel, I love you, man, because I'll give you a prime example.
Give us, the coming soon.
Oh, the Motor City Machine Guns vignette. When Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend fought Bianca and Jade for the tag titles, what did we get? We got a vignette before they came out. Like, here's who we are. We're the fucking metaphor. We're coming for the tag team titles. Boom! You introduce them. That's what you do. Not just, here's Tomohiro Ishii. Like, we don't know who Tomohiro Ishii is. Like, come on, man. Remember when Chris Jericho fought friggin' what's-his-face, Atlantis Jr.? Oh, well, him and his father back in 1993 or 1994 wrestled in AAA and Derpa when he was Corazon de Leon. That's nice. Or friggin' when John Moxley, unless you're a diehard Chris Jericho fan, you don't like, I want the Chris Jericho when he was in war, wrestling as Lionheart, man. Like, for those that don't know about war, you have no idea what wrestling and romance is.
I don't even know what it's good for.
War, good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Everybody knows war.
First of all, Boy Meets World, Topanga and Corey singing that for karaoke. Say it again, Topanga. It all comes back to Topanga.
I was making the Rush Hour reference.
That too. Or even better, come on, Lee Shimona. Don't stop till you get it up. They're killing a classic.
Come on, Lee.
Come on, Lee Shimona. Woo! Okay. Alien Ant Farm, Smooth Criminal aside. Look, here's. I love y'all. So we get to the next.
Yo, pay ass.
So this right here, before we get to Dave and Brian going at it, here is why Dave Meltzer is the biggest piece of shit in the entire fucking world. So as we know, Dutch Mantel and his wife have been sick, which prayers and love to the Mantel family, because a lot has been going on their end. So this was written in Dave's newsletter. Dutch Mantel is not doing well, nor is his wife, Kathy. He's battled sepsis twice over the last year, and both times nearly took his life. He had a month-long stay in the hospital after the second time. His wife had also both sepsis and diverticulitis to the point she's been hospitalized 11 times since May and just had emergency bowel resection surgery and has lost 70 pounds. Because of extended hospital stays, there is insurance and life savings are depleted and started a GoFundMe because both still need home care. They had raised $64,200 with most of care. They had raised with most of the top donors being anonymous, and the largest known donors were Tony Khan at $5,000 and Chris Jericho at $1,500. What Dave is also not putting into that is Jim Cornette, who he does not like, and Jim Cornette, who's been very critical of his AEW product, also donated $5,000. Jake Hager, if he's not spewing his bullshit, which that was the reason why you were over in most of your career, Jake, was because of that, man. I hope he has donated, you piece of shit, Jake Hager, not for not donating, but also maybe if I don't know if he donated, but I'm saying maybe he's the anonymous one, but fuck you, Jake Hager. That needed to be said. So here's why Tony Khan is the biggest.
We, the people.
Here's why Tony Khan is the biggest piece of shit. Right after this sentence, and people went at him for this because it's disgusting. With Khan, many have pointed out that Mantell as a podcaster was brutal to Khan, even if being critical of him when the promotion was at its popularity peak, and recently criticized him for the contract terms Swerve Strickland got in his recent deal. It is something when a former wrestler gets mad at a promoter who clearly can afford it for what he pays the top talent, and he was doing it after he knew the new deal was put together that was going to make the company exceedingly profitable. Wrestlers using the old school he doesn't draw money and not understanding that this isn't a mom and pop week-to-week business based on live event numbers, but one that in a worst-case scenario year would generate $250 million next year, and then most of that revenue is guaranteed ahead of time. So you write a story about him being in the hospital and needing financial medical support, only to then get your digs, as Meltzer said, what's here, get your digs in for being critical of Tony Khan and AEW and crow about their profitability. So he does a story about them, but he has to get in the fact that he criticized Tony Khan and his product. He criticized the baby. You piece of shit. You piece of shit. All right. Paul, you want to chime in first on this one?
He is literally the ideal person to be. You look up fucking dipshit in the fucking dictionary, that'd probably be his picture next to Dave Meltzer's. But this is the dumbest shit I think you could ever have any read from anybody. Why is this guy even fucking on any social media? Like, dude, like, nobody likes him.
No.
Nobody cared for him in the fucking company. Obviously, Jericho had him in his fucking appreciation society for whatever reason that he had him there, but he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Jake Hager did nothing at all. Just being
there. Exactly. He was just fucking there.
I like that hat.
Yeah, whatever. I like the hat too. It was cool.
Yes. But no, he said his political jargon, which got him Blitzkrieg Pro booked him and then completely unbooked him right after that, which was hilarious because it's like, hello, there's going to be women in the locker room and they don't want to be uncomfortable. You jackass. You will not make this putt, you jackass. So that, and just Tony and then Dave here just being such a dumbass, the epitome of dipshit, because he has to get the AEW narrative in because he badmouthed his baby, Tony Khan. So Daniel Crimmins, your thoughts on all this bullshit?
You write that article. I mean, Dutch Mantell, Dirty Dutch, whatever you want to call him, he's not perfect. Everybody fucking knows that.
No, he's not, but he's a legend.
At the same time, you talk about, him needing, help. Fine.
Yeah.
And you can put that story about how he criticized Tony. You can do that in a separate article.
You don't have to put it in the same fucking article.
Like, it's just... Can he really be that thick-headed?
No.
Apparently, yes.
Yes. We would hope no, but it is yes, because he can't stand, much like Paul mentioned last week when he talked about Daniel Garcia, and we all three of us talked about it on this fine show, guys, the fact that these guys, the talent and Dave and Tony, can't take criticism about AEW. So when you're on track talking about something like this, you can't take the criticism. So you have to add to the fact about the criticism of AEW in a newsletter post that doesn't need to be talked about AEW.
It's
just go for
it. As am I. It's like anything. Like, you can't criticize something, whether it be sports, politics, whatever. You can't criticize something without the other side's fandom, getting all upset about it.
It always seems to be that way, though. Like, no matter what, I get it.
Like, with anything, it's with anything.
But it's like, okay, you got sports teams. Okay, I like the Steelers. Maybe whatever team you're a Bills fan. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So what if we're playing? So I'm gonna talk shit to you. You're gonna talk shit to me. But it's friendly banter between friends. Then there are people in the IWC who seem to take it to the fucking next level. I mean, forget fandom. This is downright fucking stupidity with fucking some of them.
Exactly. And it's like, WWE wrestlers, they watch AEW. AEW watches WWE. Guarantee you.
Yeah. Like you see Bailey at these shows in disguise. Like a lot of the wrestlers watch TNA.
Jericho has
Yep.
even said this tribalism is stupid. He doesn't understand it.
But look at who starts the tribalism, the Nepo baby. Who friggin' owns the company because he can't take criticism. So then the tribalism starts. Those bald assholes.
Right? It's just it amazes me that a lot of these people want to sit behind one of these.
Yep.
Or sit behind one of these and just type away like as if their opinion is what they say goes.
Right.
It's like you can't just enjoy what the fuck is going on. You can't just enjoy wrestling. Are we big critics of AEW? Of course.
Yeah.
The exact same way we were critics of fucking WWE in the past.
Yep.
We do the exact same thing. We're just here to talk about this, but at the same time, we're going to give our views.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, from what we say, like we always talk about the frustration with AEW. I don't hate AEW. We've been watching since the first All In 2018, 2019, when the first star came into fruition with the shows. It's not that we hate it. It's just we noticed that over 5 years that the regression of the product because Tony just wants to focus on the matches. Go ahead.
We remember a time where it was just WWE.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but TNA was never a viable alternative. It was never.
I love TNA, but yeah, when they but the worst thing that they did around their time period and their inception, since they've been around 22 years now, was when Hogan came in and then they started like, we're going to go head to head with Raw, and then they got killed.
When they brought in Hogan and Bischoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I'll just say it's and I think I can speak for both you and you as well, Paul. We want AEW to succeed and thrive.
Correct.
Because the better they do, the more it's going to push WWE to up their game.
But the thing is, too, the worst thing that happened with Tony Khan was that, like we mentioned, Vince got out of power and Triple H took over the book. And then Shawn Michaels took over NXT. And both products have been really, really good. I mean, I also look at it from a stance like this. The thing with Tony Khan is, again, people hate CM Punk, but he was a big draw. And CM Punk has major fans. Like, we talked about Jungle Boy and what happened there. Like, I'm sorry, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is going to always outdo a Jungle Boy friggin' Luchasaurus feud. Like, there's a lot of dumb shit that they're doing right now. Like, we even mentioned Christian and Hook. The reason why he attacked Taz is because I want you to be my son. And you literally had people in the crowd chanting what at Christian Cage because of how dumb this fucking story is. Like, that's right there. It's like that is one of the reasons why people tune out, because that doesn't make sense. And number two,
you could have the whole who attacked Taz. You could have had it be Hook attacked him.
Yes, and they could have
Hook turn, put him with the patriarchy, put him with the learning tree, whatever the fuck ever.
But no, it's ridiculous.
Stupid.
Like a lot of
stupid.
So speaking of stupid, one more on Uncle Dave, and then we'll get into the WWE talk, and we'll get into ID, and we'll talk about some of the shows, and then we have 2 news out of Japan. Oh, brother. So these 2 clips right here come from the Brian and Vinny show, which is Brian and his boy Vinny, and him and Dave. So this is from Meltzer said what? Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer have secret storylines that they only share with each other and leave the rest of their viewers in befuddlement. No, I'm not trolling. Meanwhile, Brian Alvarez inches closer to snapping over these 2 children playing with their invisible action figures. So this first clip is from Brian and Vinny. That leads to the second clip between Brian and Dave. Here we go.
Match wears on, and every now and then Beast is like, and he puts his head in it. He's just conflicted. And I'm just like, fuck me, dude. I hate this storyline because what the fuck do we know about this story? As TV viewers, okay? Not people going on social media, not people on Twitter. What the fuck do we know as viewers about this storyline? Okay? We know that Roddy wants to recruit the Beast, okay? We do know that. We've seen it. Roddy keeps wanting to recruit the Beast. We know that he calls him Frank. Thankfully, he stopped doing that. But as television viewers, we have no earthly idea why they keep calling the Beast Mortos Frank. I know that the Beast Mortos joined LFI. But Dave tells me apparently getting this from Tony Khan, that Beast is actually, he's not a full-fledged member. He's some fucking, I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Where did you get this? This doesn't count if Tony told you off air. Like, we don't know. He's in LFI, dude. He's not a junior member. He's not on fucking probation. He's a fucking member of LFI. So apparently he's conflicted. Does he not want to be in LFI? I mean, he did the fist. Does he want to be with Rod? Why would he want to be with Rod? None of this makes any sense whatsoever. And the guy speaks no English. So, like, how do they even communicate? He speaks Beast. It's just stupid. It's like, and like Roddy's supposed to be a baby face, but he's being a dick to the Beast. But then, like, God, I hate this storyline.
So here's the story.
Am I missing anything?
The story of this specific match.
I got one more thing. So because this goes back to the match, forget everything I just talked about, just what we saw on television. So Beast is conflicted throughout the match. Okay. Well, he's conflicted again at the end, and he gets hit with a jumping knee and pin.
So that was Brian and Vinny. Like, this is from the story. Apparently, Roddy and the Beast Mortos and the LFI and the Undisputed Kingdom again makes no doggone sense. So Dave tries to make sense of this, and Brian starts to effing lose it, much like we saw with him and Vinny. Here we go.
So we have another team that is teasing
a breakup. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we're Roosh and Mortos teasing a breakup like later in the show.
Well, yes. Okay. Now listen, I got infuriated the last time you tried to explain this to me.
Yeah.
Roderick Strong and the Beast Mortos.
Yeah,
the Beast Mortos he's just stricken. He's so sad. He can't decide what he wants to do. Roderick Strong says, Beast, we needed you. Where were you when we needed you? And this Beast is conflicted. I'm like, why is this Beast conflicted? He's with LFI. Why would we care? Like, why does he want to be with Roderick Strong? We don't know. It's never been explained. They never even explain why he's called Frank. They just call him Frank. I'm just watching this thing, and because the story...
Well, everyone has a first name. They just don't use it in wrestling all the time.
Because this story is
he's a lawyer too.
God help me.
You know he's a lawyer, right?
I don't know he's a lawyer because they never told us that on television.
Well,
I'm watching this angle where they presume that I know that he's like. What did you tell me that Tony said? He's like, he's not officially an LFI. He's a what?
He's still being recruited by Roderick Strong in the Undisputed Kingdom. And he was.
He's in LFI. They're telling him to forget about this guy. So anyway, the Beast is so stricken with remorse or whatever that they have basically a shitty match.
Actually, I thought the match was pretty good.
Bro, by Roderick Strong Beast Morto standards, they could have a match 500 times better than this.
They could have had a better
match. The whole match is Beast going, he can't decide what he wants to do. Yeah. I'm like, I know what I want you to do. Beat this guy's ass, and then he'll make a big comeback.
He was beating his ass. God. I mean, he was going pretty hard on him. Which to me made no sense. It's like Beast.
Yeah, Beast. You want to be in his group? Why are you beating his ass so bad?
Yeah, you want to be on our team, and then you have a. Well, if you don't, let's have a match. Like, wait, if you're recruiting him, why do you want to have a match with him?
I didn't like this match. Too much rigmarole.
I don't like the match.
We're supposed to be in the middle of something with Roderick.
Brian, you can just tell he's starting to crack. Like, fuck this shit. I'm out. No thanks. So,
Nope.
So, your thoughts on that audio, Daniel?
The fucking mental gymnastics that Dave was going through trying to explain it. And Paul, you being a dad, you can, when your kid does something, when they're real little and they break something and you're trying to get the truth out of them and they're like, well, this happened, then that happened, then this, and then that. Like, they're just the mental gymnastics, and you're just like,
It's every kid does the same thing. It's like, exactly. I want to tell you the truth, but I don't really want to tell you the truth. So I'm going to go down this way. And then I may tail back this way, but then I may go back this way. but it might actually get to the truth once you get to the end of it. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. We've all done it. I've done it as a kid. Daniel's done it as a kid. You've done it as a kid. Anybody who has a kid knows, like, they all do it. My cousin has done it. When I used to watch my little cousin, she used to do it. Yep.
And dude, I feel bad for Brian because he was trying. He was
trying. Like he
was just trying to get a sensible. I mean, a sensible explanation.
Oh yeah.
He was just trying to get everything explained to him in the most logical sense that Dave can give him, and all Dave did was just.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a lawyer too. He's a lawyer too.
Yeah, and he's a lawyer. Oh, well then what the hell what the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China? It has nothing to do with it.
Are you turning him into the AEW version of Abyss?
I don't just remember, my brother, Abyss. He tries to make sense out of this bullshit. It's like what Paul mentioned as well, and we all three of us talked about it 2 weeks ago. The Jamie Hamer Penelope Ford thing that saw Jamie Hayter went on Dynamite, and it's not going to go anywhere after this. It was just remember that time 2 years ago, and then they had the match, and that's it. That's literally what it was. It was just to have him for the match for sake of having a match, like we mention all the time. That makes no sense. We talked about Mercedes and Chris Statlander. That makes no sense. A lot of what you see on this card and what on AEW makes no sense, but then you have dumbass Dave over here trying to tell me how this fucking shit makes sense when LFI is over here doing this and they're trying to friggin' mix. This is what Tony does that's horrible. He meshes the stories together. Like the Undisputed Kingdom and LFI, the Undisputed Kingdom and friggin' the House of Black. That stuff is coming into fruition. You have the 4 teams going for the tag titles, and Private Party looks like they're going to lose. This was just they have them win for a feel-good moment, and they're probably going to lose to whoever. It's just they're all over the place, and he's got to stop meshing people together. He meshes everybody together, and that's the problem.
If they really wanted to do something with the Undisputed Kingdom,
yeah,
have them turn on Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And have MJF lead the Undisputed Kingdom.
That would be cool. That would be a very nice swerve going into very nice, Daniel. Very nice going to the Full Gear. But I mean, that's smart booking. We think logically, but Tony doesn't think that. It's going to probably lead to Roddy turning on, like you mentioned, Adam Cole, or something's going to happen because Roddy, here's the problem that I had when the Undisputed Kingdom, quote unquote, turned face, and then all of a sudden with Adam Cole, right? People online are like, well, they were already faces. And I'm like, when? Because I legit had to write when. And he goes, when Hook and Roderick Strong. Remember when Hook and Roderick Strong wrestled in friggin' New York and they retired the FTW title, then they shook hands? That was a babyface turn. Oh, the fuck it wasn't. The fuck are you talking about? You're like, Dave, you're trying to make shit make sense that doesn't make any sense. They're not baby faces. They just shook hands. Malachi Black is a heel. The House of Black are heels. And he shook Adam Cole's hand and they hugged, which apparently everybody thought he was leaving. But Malachi Black's like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not hurt. I'm staying where I was. I was just giving props and kudos to the guy who won. But at the same time, too, in the back of your mind, if Malachi Black got that call, he would go back to NXT in a heartbeat.
And see, here's the thing. I will add this.
Hit me.
Is it possible that he's leaving when his deal is up? Because if I remember right, he was hurt for a couple months.
He was hurt for a few months, yeah.
Not unless Tony decides that he wants to do the exact same thing he did to
exactly. You are not going to have AEW talent that are going to admit that they are leaving or that their contract is up whenever. They're not going to do that.
Nah.
Because they saw what Tony did with Ray Phoenix and they're like, I'm not taking my chances. Because there are some people, I guarantee you, on there, former WWE guys and some people that were never there, that would get a guaranteed spot. Malachi Black could leave Dynamite on, let's say his contract is up Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. Does his last AEW Dynamite, shows up on SmackDown on Friday night. They bring him back first thing.
1,000%.
1,000%. He's there with his girl.
Yep.
That's Buddy Murphy, Buddy Matthews, whatever you want to call him. Buddy the Elf.
What's your favorite color?
He would show up if they called him.
For real?
Oh, Brody King, who's never been there. You can't tell me Triple H wouldn't want to look and be like, I want you.
Exactly. Wardlow. That's the other problem with this thing really quickly before we get to WWE ID. MJF makes the phone call. I mean, we're going to get to Kesha and Adam Cole, but he's like, make the phone call. I need you to pay a visit to somebody. If you have Wardlow go back with MJF after everything that happened with the Undisputed Kingdom, because they were teasing that thing with him and Adam Cole because he didn't win the world title. If you have him go back to the guy that treated him worse than friggin' Adam Cole does, that makes no goddamn sense. What was the point of him, squashing him, getting out of that contract? If you have them go back to that makes no fucking sense. Just get the fuck out, Wardlow. Just get out, go to WWE. It makes no sense.
Money while you can.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. Again, frustrations, but this product fucking sucks. And I'll tell you what doesn't suck. We're gonna get the WWE ID. All right. So here is some of the members that we saw. This is the WWE ID Twitter page. I'm not calling it X. Fuck you, Elon. So here are some of the people that have signed. Perfect. The Real Deal, Zeta Steele. I have had the pleasure of reviewing one of her matches where she worked for a former promotion, Capital Championship Wrestling. She is a very good talent, the Real Deal. They scatter her from Combat Zone Wrestling. Hometown is Washington, D.C. Finishers on Prettier. Only been in the business for 2 years. Then we move on to another one I've seen on the Northeast. He's done some shows in Jersey and New York. He is one of the guys who came from Creative Pro, which was managed by Brian Myers. Kurt Hawkins, who was the trainer over there at Creative Pro on Long Island. So Bryce Donovan was scouted by, Wrestling Open, Long Beach, New York, and that is where Bryce Donovan is from. Then we move on to Cappuccino Jones, Cold Brew, if you will.
Hold on. Before you keep going, that is the best fucking name I've heard in a long time.
Cold Brew Cappuccino Jones.
Cold Brew Cappuccino. I'm sorry, but that is fucking awesome. I damn near, as soon as I saw it, I was like, God damn.
That's great. That's really
that
good.
was fucking great. Forget fucking anybody else. That right there that's my name of the year.
Give that man a title already.
Give that man a damn title already.
And I wanted to point out, notice like the only veteran right here of these three is Bryce Donovan, but still you're getting veterans and you're mixing it with young talent like Zeta Steele, 2 years, 2022. Cappuccino, look at that face. Cappuccino Jones, baby. Cold Brew, only 2 years. And then we've seen him on NWA, AEW Collision. We got Jack Summit, a.k.a. Jack Cartwheel, baby. Jack Cartwheel got a WWE ID prospect. He's been wrestling since 2019. He was scouted from Game Changer Wrestling. Then we move on to, this is someone that, Paul, you were high on, and I took a look at a lot of her stats. Zara Zakher, the petite powerhouse, who is from Millennium Pro Wrestling, hometown San Diego, California. Paul Morales, you were very high on her, man. I got to say, I like this girl.
Oh, my God, dude. She is a fucking talent. I mean, she's wrestled. I mean, just go on to YouTube, dude. Look up her name, dude. She is fucking badass, and she kicks ass. I mean, I could see her in NXT in that women's division that's there that they're building. Oh, my God. She could slot right in to that women's division right now.
Another name, Sean Legacy, scattered from Pro Wrestling Revolution, and Noah Tryout from Augusta, Georgia. He has a lot of talent I can see from his build and his stature. Then we move on to the next one.
I'll be honest. He looks like a cross between LA Knight and Ludwig Kaiser.
Let me go back to that so I can just see that image now in my head. I can see that. The LA Knight with the smile and statuesque, Ludwig Kaiser with the hair. Okay. I like your style, Mr. Daniel Crimmins. Then we got Marcus Mathers, Philly's finest, who I was very happy to see because I've seen Marcus Mathers work. We're scouted from GCW, Game Changer Wrestling. And then we move on, like William Regal gave him as well with this gentleman here. Sam Hardway Holloway from International Wrestling Cartel, IWC, from Akron, Ohio. Another one, very much a brute, another relatively newcomer, as we see here. And then we get to this.
Got that old school vibe. I dig it.
I could see that, kind of like the old school, like from the bygone era, something that you could see. All right, from Wrestling Sport. Okay. Then we move on to the real-life action figure. It's Gal from Wrestling Open, which I like. First of all, the name, like you talk about Cappuccino, Brew Paul the real-life action figure. Like I can deal.
The real-life action figure.
And he does.
I'm trying to like pinpoint who this dude looks like. I mean, it's like he has like that Ludwig Kaiser kind of body.
Yep.
But I don't know. That face kind of looked like that, like Finn Balor a little bit in the chin and the hair.
I can see that.
When Finn had his hair all nice and a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah. That's what I see.
And the other man from Future Stars of Wrestling, which I love as someone who's been down in Las Vegas, we have the coldest wrestler on the planet, Ice Williams.
And now you get him and Cappuccino in the tag team, you got Ice Cappuccino.
Ice Cappuccino, yes. So
that'll be the name of their tag team.
Ice Cappuccino. I like your style.
That's what I'm talking about. But here's the thing, though, is that this dude wrestles for Reality of Wrestling. That's Booker T's boy right there.
Yeah, Booker T's boy from Reality of
Wrestling. That's a Booker T boy right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean that. And he gave him the surprise in the ring and told him I think it was this past weeks of Reality of Wrestling.
I think it's
and told him that he was going to be part of it. So, hey man, shout out to Booker T for finding such great talent, that are in his company. So
I will say this: if you have not followed it, follow as I'm pointing out and showing the vids here and everything. Follow WWE ID on Twitter, because it gives you the updates, and I'm promoting it just because I've been enjoying seeing the prospects that are coming in. They have so many people right now. The youngins, who we've wrestled for only like 2 years, the veterans that have been wrestling since 2018, 2019, and Bryce Donovan, who's been doing the thing since 2016. You have a nice mixture, and I got to say, a lot of people will crap on it. Some people who are on the indies have crapped on it. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it is a win. It's a W for WWE, especially when you guys like William Regal scouting, because it's fucking William Regal and Triple H and Shawn. Like, this is a big W for WWE.
It is a big W, and you know what? It's as many people were like looking at it saying, "Oh, well, they're just trying to get ahead of everybody, and they're just trying to fill their roster with talent." It's like, what they're doing is basically what everybody else is doing. They're out there scouting, and not everybody that is in the WWE ID needs to stay with them. They can go explore and do whatever they want to do. It's just it's like saying like you have scouts out there looking at prospects. That's basically what it is. NFL does it, Major League Baseball does it, all around the world, not just in the US. I mean, they got people overseas, for baseball. Here it's all kinds of all different colleges and high schools and middle schools, mind you. There are middle schools, there are scouts at middle schools or even Pop Warner football games looking at young kids to see if how they're developing. They're out there. That's basically what WWE is doing. UFC does it. UFC does it too. So if we're looking at this, it's just them sending scouts out, IDing them, saying, "We see you, and if we think that the time is right, we're going to offer you a contract." Or if AEW offers you a contract, or GCW, anybody offers you a contract, you're welcome to go with them.
Hell to the yeah. So Dan, I think you could concur as someone who's looked a lot on the indies, as we all have. It's a good time for WWE and the ID.
I think this can only be a good thing. Like, and they tease more and even bigger names. Like, so there's more coming out down the pipeline.
And I will say what also is going to give us more, as we are going to go through Raw and SmackDown quickly before we get to the last two Japan news. And a couple notes I took from SmackDown. Number one, Nia Jackson, Naomi. I am looking forward to that. Our girl Nia, Paul. Our girl Nia.
My girl Nia.
Girl Nia and Naomi. I love that they're giving her the push there. The fact that, and we mentioned this, and I mentioned this to Robert and Nicola, and I'll mention it to you too. The fact that we're going to get a heel DIY, not doing Gargano and Ciampa again, the heel DIY, much like the heel Generation Me against the Motor City Machine Guns like we had in TNA, I am for that. I like how they're telling the story of it's like, hey, I don't care that Alex Shelley was your mentor and that you were boys with him. We want the fucking tag titles back. We never got our rematch. Come on. And they squashed poor Pretty Deadly. Poor Pretty Deadly got absolutely mollywopped on SmackDown by Tommaso Ciampa. And Gargano didn't even get in the ring. And I really, really like the trajectory of that. I liked as well, and I'll put this into the forefront. Paul, you know where we're going. Nick Aldis made the announcement. The Women's United States Championship. Let's fucking go, baby.
About damn
This guy put it out in the universe shortly before WrestleMania. And I said, you're going to fucking play that clip. I said that WWE, with as many women as they're putting into the company, need a mid-card title for them. I asked Alex, Alex Leas, Queen of the Ring. I asked her, and she said the exact same thing. Like, if it works, yes, they need to develop storylines. What have they been doing? Developing storylines. They have so many women on that roster that could be United States champion right now. Michin, Chelsea Green are just
Candice
two.
LeRae.
Candice LeRae.
Naomi. Look at that mid card. Just those women, just those 4. I'm just giving 4 right now. Piper Niven could be another one. You could even go over to Raw and you could look at
Lyra Valkyria.
Shayna Baszler, Lyra Valkyria. You could look at you could look at Kairi Sane. I'm saying, like, that mid card title picture for them could be amazing.
I will put the playlists of Paul saying this in our weekly.
Yeah, you better, man, because that's just me. Look, I'm just trying to put it out there. Like, I thought at the time, shortly, and then a short time later, they did the women's North American title.
Right.
And I kept saying, I said, it's only a matter of time before it hits the main roster.
I think they were using that as a test to see how the crowd would and it worked. Like, I like it, honestly. You have so many choices you could go with. If I'm picking one, I'm saying either Candice LeRae or Chelsea Green. Because you got to say it. There's a video from a house show where she's yelling at the announcer saying, you got to say it right.
Oh, yes. It's Samantha Urban, we miss you, and we love you for that. So, and as opposed to playing the clip, I'm going to put it up because I got to make this public over here. Paul, I'm going to read it. We're going to read it together. Denise Salcedo, who, by the way, keep doing your thing, girl. I know you're going to be doing more on your YouTube. Shout out to Denise. She's going to continue on to greener pastures and just kill it. We love Denise Salcedo here. I got to give
Denise. We love my girl Denise. That's my road dog.
Yes. So we put this into the fruition.
That's my dog.
That's your dog. It's my dog birthday.
No, I love that she gave me the couple opportunities that she did to talk to her, about on her show. So I shout out to my girl.
Shout out.
Latina Heat.
So Paul tweeted me and Denise and said, I've been speaking on this as far back as January, and it has finally come to fruition. I am going to post every single video of me repeatedly saying that WWE needs a women's mid-card title on the main roster. Paul Morales is in his friggin' feels right now. He's a happy boy. Oh, Daniel.
Look, like I said, it was just it, and Dan said the exact same thing. It was they had the women's North American title basically to see how it would develop and how people would be receptive to it, if they would be receptive to it.
Right.
And exactly as he said, they were receptive to the fact that they had a tournament. They got Kalani Jordan as their inaugural champion, which was great. And did I think that she should have been the first? No, I probably would have said Michin, because Michin probably would have been a better choice. But that's just my opinion. I'm not taking anything away from Kalani Jordan, because I think that she, as she held it, she is actually a fighting champion, and she literally fought everybody that came for it. So shout out to Kalani Jordan for doing her damn thing when she was being the inaugural North American Women's Champion.
What were your thoughts on the Women's United States Championship, Daniel Crimmins?
I absolutely love it. Mike, you know how I feel about white straps on titles.
Yes.
Dirty. Look at close-ups of the old Intercontinental title, like towards the end of that one's lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It was dirty. Talent don't take care of the titles. They don't.
Nah.
But it's not just the talent, though. I mean, a lot of times they get them back, and you look at even when when Razor Ramon had it, and he had that white stripe or a white strap on it, and it was like, and even Ultimate Warrior when he had the yellow one.
Gold.
They always came back looking like they were dirty.
Dustin Rhodes, remember when he had the gold strap?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not long ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, that specific belt, the one that Goldust had sold to a private collector, and I saw a picture of what it looks like now. You wouldn't know it was gold. It's warped over time, like this goldish brown, like, you know, like a night after Taco Bell, if you get what I'm saying.
Ouch.
Ow.
I mean, and the original Big Gold, the original, you know, WCW title, that was originally brown. But beer and alcohol and Ric Flair held it a lot, so God knows what else.
Just don't leave it in the limo like Chris Jericho did with the AEW title.
Al, what was it?
No, it wasn't a limo. It was a rental car, wasn't it?
No,
Yeah,
it was a limo.
it was a limo.
Oh
And
yeah.
then it was
a limo.
supposedly found on the side of the road. Yeah. Okay.
Supposedly found on the side of the road.
Now I will say this: I was going to mention it, but they're out there. We'll get to the brief spoilers for on SmackDown. But one other note I wanted to mention was they did the angle on Raw this week. Karrion Kross, The Miz, has escaped the clutches of the Wyatt family, and he's like, "I'm done. I'm moving on. We have made amends. I'm a new man." And Karrion Kross is like, "No, Paul Ellering is still out on the shelf. I'm gonna break your fucking legs." And then he just tosses The Miz out there, and he gets him in the ring. He's like, "Where's the Wyatt Six? Here come the Wyatt Six. The Miz, you sneaky, sniveling son of a bitch. It's a setup. It's a trap." Chair shot to the back of Rowan. The Skull Crusher finale on the chair. Uncle Howdy goes for the mandible claw and Karrion Kross, but gets taken out. Then he hits him with his maneuver, that Doomsday, that friggin' like pump handle gun wrench into like a DDT type of move that I love so much. And the Miz and Karrion Kross hug. It was a setup. They got him. It was all a ruse. They got us again. Shivani and friggin' Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy laughing at Karrion Kross. I am invested. You have me hooked. I was very skeptical at first, but I am looking forward to the Miz and the Final Testament against the Wyatt Six. And Scarlett getting in the ring with Nikki Cross, by the way. I think that's going to be sweet. Daniel, I'll start with you on this one. Go ahead.
I love me some Wyatt Six. You know, I am a mark for every one of those gentlemen, and you know, Miss Nikki Cross, love her to pieces. Finally, she's getting some in-ring action.
Hell yeah, man! I mean, she did with the with Ivy Nile and the American Maid, but this is like even cooler now because Scarlett rarely wrestles. So this is why it's more special because Scarlett rarely wrestles. And Paul, what are your thoughts on this angle?
I have to throw out a little gripe to the IWC, which they have been clamoring for the Wyatt Six. We'll just say this: the Wyatt Six. Mm-hmm. Like they were like, well, why aren't they on TV? Why aren't they here? Why aren't they there? But you have to you can't. This isn't a 3-hour show. This is 2 hours. Now, if there was a third hour, yes, they would probably put them on TV and doing whatever they were doing. But it's that anticipation for when they're going to show up. You know, we're just anticipating is the next person that comes out to cut a promo, are they going to come after them? You know, or if Kofi and Xavier Woods come out, are they going to come and attack them? You know, it's that anticipation who's going to be next. You know, you don't know when they're going to appear, but now with this feud with Karrion Kross and I was going to call him Judgment Day. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to go now. All right, I got to go.
Well, I mean, they did something with Dominic talking about,
No, but I'm saying like it's good that they're doing this. It's good that they're giving them the time on the TV, but it makes people just anticipate the next time that they're going to be on. You flood the TV with them, people are going to be like, oh, we're so bored of them.
Right. And that's the thing too. Like you have everything set up so perfectly. Like you have Dominic telling Finn, you know, at least I got closer to the world title than you did. So there's some dissension between Finn and Dom. You carry that story along. And I mean, like people were getting upset, like, and we'll get to the spoilers now, that Raw is being taped for like the next week or two. And it's like, hello, holidays, Thanksgiving, and they want them to spend time with their families and have time off, which is good for their body. So
yeah,
stop.
Vince never did that.
Yeah, Vince never did that. Randy Orton, go out there. You have a hurt back. Who cares? Mother Nature gets us all. Fuck you, Vince. So, I mean, it's like, come on, man. Like, stop fucking bitching that it's taped for the next 2 weeks. So, one of the big things that came out of the spoilers, we'll start with the women. So, the women's War Games match looks to be Nia.
War Games!
War Games! It's
War Games.
It's Nia, it's Tiffany, it's Liv, it's Raquel, and it's Candice LeRae against Io Shirai, Bianca, Jade, Naomi, and the returning, and this is where people bitched, after 3 weeks with the mask like The Undertaker and her broken orbital bone, Rhea Ripley. People were pissed because it's like, oh, there goes Belda after 3 weeks and now she's back. Okay, these are the same people that complained, which the angle was done so well on SmackDown, that Kevin Owens pile drove Randy Orton, and just they sell him the neck and whatnot, and people are acting like, okay, AEW, Trent Beretta pile drove Orange Cassidy on fucking steel steps, and he got right back up. That's the difference between AEW and WWE right there. So shut your fucking mouths. They actually sold the pile driver and Michael Cole. It's banned. It's banned because the last time we saw it was Punk and John Cena in 2013 on a random ass Raw in that match, which was sweet when they did it at that time. But that's the thing. Shut the fuck up, number one. And number two, this is how you make angles matter. And I have no problem with Rhea coming back after 3 weeks because the match that they want to do next is Rhea and Raquel. So they can still do Rhea and Raquel.
And they didn't know how serious her injury was at first because the orbital
bone.
That thing, it's a very tricky injury. And she
Good.
Anyway, it's a very tricky injury, and you can either be out for a little bit or for a long time. The fact that they can have her in the mask, works. Cody had to wear it for a little bit.
He did. Undertaker, Cody, yep.
Well, we know why Undertaker had to wear his.
Goddamn Mabel. God rest the soul.
Look at even JCJ. JCJ
is killing it.
JCJ took it from Cody Rhodes, so it makes sense.
Well, Tatum Paxley, when she broke her nose.
Tatum Paxley was another one after she broke hers.
Yeah, like it's nothing new here, people. Like, stop bitching. And yes, that's how you do it. Now, do you guys like how Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, the pile driver, was sold so well? That was great. Now,
because you have Kevin Owens kind of look back like,
oh, what did I just do?
Like, I shouldn't have done that. Well, no, I should have done that. And
well, that's my thing too, because people are bitching because the other side of the coin here for the men's is Bronson Reed does pin Seth Rollins due to Solo Sikoa next week. So it looks like they're gonna do like the new Bloodline and Bronson Reed against the Bloodline, and Seth Rollins might be joining the side. How can him and Roman coexist with everything? Do you like the addition of Seth and Bronson? Because a lot of people are like, oh, that's forced. Why can't it be Cody and Kevin? Because Kevin has the history with Sami. But also, Roman has the history with Seth. So that makes sense there because Roman could have beaten Cody at WrestleMania, but he decided, hey, I still have such vengeance for Seth Rollins from what happened a mere 10 years ago. I'm going to hit him back in the chair for what he did me. We saw it at the Royal Rumble. That was a DQ finish. Roman hit Seth with the chair because he has so much hatred for the fact that the Shield broke up, and Seth has problems with how he treated him. And he even said to Sami, I think you're out of your mind for teaming with them, but hey, man, do your thing. But now he has a reason to team with them because of Solo, the wannabe Roman Reigns, as he put it, and Bronson Reed is on his side because he can't stand Bronson Reed. So it makes sense either way, whether it's Seth and Bronson or Cody and Kevin. But if they continue with Cody and Kevin, the feud is, you took out my mentor, Randy Orton, because he has a close relationship with Randy Orton. So either way, it all makes sense. People need to calm the fuck down. Go ahead, Daniel.
Can we get just one time Bronson Reed saying, I love you, Solo.
I love you, Solo.
I love you, Michael. I love you, Daniel.
The fact that they gave that man a chance to cut a promo on SmackDown, that was the most gangster shit. I'll put it in most blood. That was the most gangster shit I've ever seen in my life. That man cut a promo, and you felt every single word of that. You wanted to run away. You wanted to do everything. That man put the fear of God into you. Jacob Fatu, give me more of him cutting promos.
I love you, Solo.
I love you, Solo. Oh, but
I cannot wait until they let Jacob Fatu off his leash.
Oh, agreed, dude. Agreed wholeheartedly.
Exactly.
So the point
I can't wait for it either.
So the point being, people, let it play out. Let it come into fruition because we are in for one hell of a ride. And the ride is almost coming to the end on our show here because we are going to get in the final topics, and this is from Japan. So this is footage of the recent altercation between Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd in Japan.
I'm talking to you right now. Be professional and get my fucking name right. What are you talking about, bro? Oh, you guys, man. You don't care about this business. You don't care about doing shit with New Japan. You don't care about doing shit with New Japan. You just want to come here, get paid easy money, and do shit. Hey, bro, I can't even make sure. Okay, fuck up.
So are y'all excited for Gabe Kidd and Kenny Omega? What
Yeah.
the hell? Dropping bows on him, man. Just everything.
Drop bows on him.
Drop bows on him. Throw them.
You know, for me, I'm excited for it because I want to see what kind of shape Kenny's in.
Same.
He hasn't wrestled in almost a year at this point.
Almost a year, yeah. Paul, are you excited?
I don't know. It just seems like it was like two girls fighting in a bar like over the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for him to work with a younger talent in Gabe Kidd, and Gabe Kidd is really coming to his own in New Japan. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the old guard and the new guard go at it. Again, I've mentioned this on the AEW front. If he comes back with the Young Bucks, it makes no goddamn sense for the Elite.
He will. He will.
Against John Moxley's crew. Yeah, no.
He will. I guarantee you that's you're gonna get, you know, an Avengers Endgame bullshit fucking thing, and it's gonna make no sense. Like, yay, we're back.
We're back. We love you, Kenny.
Oh my god! But they did nothing what they were doing before. Oh my god! They did this whole executive VP, whatever the hell they were doing, and it's like it went like after like 3 weeks.
Oh my god!
After they beat Danielson or whatever, it just went. There was nothing that made that shit fucking survive, and it all went to shit.
God, it sucks so bad. So yeah, that is happening. Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see the trajectory, but yeah, let's see where it goes from there. And speaking of where it goes, finally, it's happened to me in front of my face. Meiko Satomura, former NXT UK champion. We've seen her in the Mae Young Classic. A legend in professional wrestling. She has confirmed that her retirement match will take place on April 29, 2025, almost exactly 30 years on from her in-ring debut. Praise and much love and respect to the career of Meiko Satomura for what she did for NXT UK, her matches with Kaylee Ray, her matches with Isla Dawn, from everybody that she got to wrestle in NXT UK. She helped elevate a lot of those women from her
stuff in WCW.
When she was a kid, yes. The early days of WCW. If for those who have not seen her and Killer Kelly from the Mae Young Classic, I urge you to go watch that back because it was fantastic. She just is another one, a trailblazer of Japanese female talent and female talent as a whole. Gotta give it love to Meiko Satomura. She's retiring. Tanahashi's getting ready to retire. I mean, come on.
The old guard is
getting ready to retire.
Yeah.
Dan's getting ready to retire.
Everybody's getting ready to retire, but
I'm getting ready to retire. Mike's at that age to where he's about ready to get his AARP card.
Yeah, well, but I will say this, gentlemen. I think for her last opponent, I'm curious to see who it's going to be. I know she did wrestle Bailey in Japan for the house show. That was very cool to see. But I'm curious,
that was good.
I'm curious to see who she's going to wrestle. So I'm here for it, man.
Give me Asuka.
I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah,
Mercedes Moné.
Oh, for God's sake!
Get the fuck out of here!
Don't even put that into existence because
Get the fuck out of here.
Look, if I'm thinking about female wrestlers, the only person that comes to mind for her to have her last match with would probably be Asuka.
Yeah, I concur. I would like that.
And that's literally there's nobody else that's there that has been around as long And I
That's
think Asuka's 40. Asuka's in her actually
40.
I think she's 42 or 43. I know she's older, but good lord. I don't care. That woman can still fucking go even for being in her 40s.
Asuka's 43.
Exactly.
Whew.
So
So
she doesn't look at you wouldn't be able to tell.
You wouldn't be able to tell.
Oh,
And
no.
not even when she even has her, not even when she doesn't have makeup on, does she look like she's 43.
not at all.
And she is just so entertaining. Like she can do the goofy, fun, bubbly face type.
And
She
can be
can be the badass monster.
Baka,
heel.
baka, 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 baka,
That
baka,
promo.
baka, baka. Bitch.
If you look up like the subtitles, it makes it even better.
Oh
Yeah, and that was the best one. Oh, those were the good where she's over there calling her stupid. She just turns around and go, bitch.
Bitch. See, that's how you do comedy right, not Kai and Tai. That's how you do it. Choppy, choppy, pee-pee. That was actually funny. Asking
Racist much?
Racist?
Oh, yeah,
now, one thing I will finally say before we do our closing, because Paul had to put that damn name into existence with Mercedes Moné. This woman literally did an interview and said, not the fact that she wants to be better than John Cena and The Rock and all of them. Do not compare yourself to that level, honey, because you're not. But the other one about, we have such a great women's wrestling roster here. I think the women should have their own show. Like you mean like Evolution was in WWE? Like, I think we can have our own weekly show. No, you can't.
She wants her own show.
No, you can't. And nobody would tune in. This is like friggin' Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes at Rhodes to the Top. No, just no. Shut the fuck up, Mercedes. Please be quiet. I've never seen such a lackluster run in a company in my life. Money not well spent because this woman.
Hell, I watched Something to Talk About.
Yes.
More than I watched him and Brandy.
Oh my God.
Of course, then again, I watched Brandy's cooking show a little bit more.
Yeah,
that was good. That was entertaining,
and it was entertaining. I have to admit, that was entertaining.
That was.
I would love it if WWE brought that back.
I mean, they're doing it now with Lash Legend, which I don't mind seeing her on my TV cooking. I like.
I don't mind her on my TV at all.
Period.
You know, Trick Williams doesn't mind it.
Whoop that Trick. What, you lucky man. Trick Williams. Trick Willis style. But yes, that is Mercedes Moné's bullshit. This has been the Week in Wrestling, and this has been the Weekly Review. And we thank you all for paying attention and seeing our lovely faces. So with that being said, Paul Morales, where can we follow you on the social media front?
That name right there, the Dead Man of RWT, X, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, the same name. Of course, you can find me Big Papa Big.Papa.76 on Threads. I do a lot more posting of wrestling on there. Of course, Mr. Dan, where the hell can we find you?
Come on, Daniel, let us know. You
can find me on the Instagram. You know, Michael will put the link down somewhere in wherever that goes.
Yeah, and down there.
Down there.
Down where?
Down there. Not down there. Don't be
here.
tattooing it down there, but down there in that link. Wait. Right there, down there.
Yeah. That one. You can also find me on the Max Wrestling Podcast. I'm a temporary guest. You can see me there. You can also see me on Uncaged, where we just recorded our season finale of our wonderful, wonderful program, discussing with our guest, Robert Davis and Nico McDonald, the one, the only, the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
I put up the one, and you
had to do my best Paul Heyman.
Yes.
I'm basically bald like him.
Yes. Do you want to promote?
You're basically bald like him.
Yes. Do you want to promote?
My show, Piledrives Pundit, is coming back. I have to re-record. Pile got corrupted. Something doesn't want me bringing that back, but you know what?
It's coming.
Screw it. It's coming.
And Dan, any more new kicking it with the TSKs? I know y'all just did some pay-per-view reviews.
The last one we did the last AEW pay-per-view, which I'm terrible with pay-per-view names. That one. We did that one. Believe we are doing the next one.
Full Gear next week.
Yeah, we're doing Full Gear, I believe. Don't know if we're doing Survivor Series. I haven't talked to the crew yet, but Maybe.
When you find out, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Oh, I will.
I will.
You better.
You better. So if you want to check out the link for D Crimmins 1, I'm putting his Instagram out there. Follow Dan and his cat pics. You just saw his cat make an appearance, by the way, not too long ago. So yes, so you check out Daniel's cat with him.
She will be expecting royalties, you know. So if this makes any money, I gotta.
This man literally said,
she's union, and there's union rules, and
this man literally said, "Goddamn cat," as she walked across. That was hilarious. I love you for that, Dan.
And I had told her, I pointed the whole show, like, you see, you reach out, I'm like, stay. Cats don't listen to you.
They don't, trust me.
No. Well, mine kind of, sort of, but no. Anyways, Mr. Michael Larkin, where the hell can we find you at, sir?
So you can follow me, SM Show 1, MCL92, StephenMikeShow.com, LFCFights.com, MLarkinMB, Larkin_92 on Instagram, Mike Larkin92, the YouTube. We're over 1,060 plus now. Keep on subscribing. We love y'all, man. Thank y'all for subscribing and showing us some love and engagement. And if you want to check out this show, it's the weekly review. It's Uncaged with Daniel Crimmins. It is Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling with Robert Davis and Nicola McDonald. It is the Pop Culture History Podcast. It's the LFC Podcast. It's on the Mike of Mike, and it's the Stephen Mike Show, all wrapped into one. Subscribe, like, and check us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. For Daniel Crimmins, for Paul Morales, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week for more weekly news and notes and predictions for Full Gear.
And we'll pay you.
And I'm going to pay you.
Oh, my God, I love you, Mercedes. You're a blessing. I love you. And we're out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
The past is gone. Now's the future.